Hey y'all, and happy holidays from Fanked Pipsqueak Reads. I hope you guys have been having a good holiday and a safe one because, yeah, things are not great. Thankfully, I'm not. I've been safe so far, so I'm hoping that I don't catch it right away. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm filming this. I actually, well, I've actually managed to keep this booktube channel of mine for up to a year, which is great. I started it in January, and so far I have read 22 books, which is pretty good to me, because I am a really slow reader, and I have a busy life. I'm working full time, and I'm also writing my own stories. So having the time to read 22 books is pretty good, in my opinion. Not compared to many of my other book reviewers. I mean, kudos to them, but I feel kind of proud. So yeah. So I kind of just wanted to do like my best reads of 2021. Just highlights the books that I felt like were the best in my opinion. I didn't really do a lot of reading. Like I said, it was only 22 books, so I didn't have that many. I didn't have that hard of a time to choose like who were my best reads of 2021. But I did like switch it into categories. So I have like the best novella, and like the best short story collection, and the best novel. So I think that should be good. I don't know if people are interested in knowing about this, but yeah. But before I start that, I got a book for Christmas. Usually I get like a lot. I think my record was like 5 or 6 books at one time. I only got 1 book this year. And I think that's okay because it's huge. It's a lot. This is probably gonna take me about 2 months or more. So yeah, I got The Empire of the Vampire by Kristoff. So I've been wanting to read this for some time. My friend Richard Gerlach from our podcast, he has been reading it, and he texted me and he said like, Vilma, you really need to read this book. So I'm excited to start reading it, but at the same time it's a little bit daunting because it's a lot. And it says book 1? Is the other books going to be bigger? Should I be worried? I mean, I've never read anything by Kristoff, so I don't know what his style is. So I'm a little bit curious to see how it will go. So this is gonna be my New Year books that I'm gonna read. Hopefully I'm starting it like this weekend if I have time. So yeah. So I think we should just get right to it. I want to start with the short story collections. I read a lot of them. I prefer short story collections because due to my busy schedule, it's nice that I've been able to read a short story here and there when I have the time. And I just love short story collections because they give you a different kind of flavor to the author. You can see his, depth, and you can see a lot of variety, and you can see which of the styles, which of the genres, or just which of the stories fit the most to that writer's, unique style. And that's why I'm still probably for this, for my YouTube channel, I'm probably going to continue, reading a lot of short story collections and, novellas and stuff, because I really think they are the best. That's just my opinion. So, without further ado, I picked 3 short story collections that I feel are the best in my opinion. These are the ones that I read, and I gave them all 5 stars. and I just really, really enjoyed them. I loved the variety in them. I loved the, I loved, I just loved everything about it. It just had a lot of variety, had a lot of depth, it had a lot of character. Like the voices were all different, and the themes were really good. And so, yeah. So this is the one that I actually finished, and I did a review, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Those We Left Behind by Brandon Applegate. I definitely love this one, and I can't wait to see what other stories he's gonna write. And once he gets them out, I'm probably not gonna be the first one, but I'll try to be one of the first ones to read it, because he's got the chops, and I highly recommend that you check it out. And then I also picked Where the Last Light Dies by Damascus Minsmeyer. This short story collection has a lot of different kind of stories. It also has, the good classics that a lot of people choose, like werewolves, vampires, and ghosts and stuff. And his stories, one of the main strengths that Damascus has is the dialogue, and basically the unique style that he writes, that he managed to capture a voice in each of the stories. There's always a unique, different voice in each story, and it's just really, really good. I highly recommend that you check out Where the Last Light Dies. It's really good. And then lastly, The Unfortunate Elements of My Anatomy by Haley Piper. This is also one of my favorites, and it contains one of the best short stories I've read to date, and it was called The Last. What was it called again? Can't remember. The Resuscitation of the First Feeding. It's phenomenal. It was so good. It was that good that I actually went over to my pals over at Staring at the Abyss podcast, and I just like, guys, we have to read this story and we have to discuss it, because it is so good. And I'm so happy that my friends, they totally agreed with me. So Haley Piper is an emerging queer horror author, and I love each and every one of her stories, and I honestly can't wait to see more from her. So definitely, I'm probably going to fill most of my bookshelves with her stories in the future. So she's going to go far. So definitely pick up The Unfortunate Elements of My Anatomy if you want to get a little sneak peek into her style. It's definitely worth checking out. So yeah, that concludes the short story collections. Now let's move on to the novellas. I again picked three from my how should I say, stack, I guess. Yeah, my stack my red stack, and I chose these ones because they resonated with me and I loved their styles, and I also was introduced to new elements, which was really intriguing, but it was a lot of fun, and at some points very disturbing. So the novellas that I chose for the best novellas of 2021 is Kev Harrison's The Balance. It is about a modern unique take on the Slavic folktale of Baba Yaga. Everyone knows usually about her. She's like this little witch that has that's like in a cauldron that hops with a chicken foot or something like that. But in this case, it's more like, if you don't go for the values, and you don't honor what's happening in the woods, or you just, if you don't honor nature, nature will fuck you up. And Baba Yaga in The Balance basically demonstrates that in the story, and it was really good. I really loved the characters. I love the main character. I can't remember Natalia, and her drive to try to keep her family safe. And I just loved how Baba Yaga was portrayed. She's one of my favorite folktale, like Slavic folktales, and I just love reading different interpretations of Baba Yaga. So definitely recommend Kev Harrison's The Balance. Then I read, and this was a new one for me because I've never read anything like that. It was a splatter western, and splatter westerns are so much fun because I love writing these kind of splattery stories. I don't shy away from the gore, and it's so much fun to write about it, and it's also really fun to read about it. So I chose Kenzie Jennings' The Red Station as part of my best novella. I really love this one. It was short, like I said, it's a novella, but it was packed with action and it was packed with gore, and the characters are so fun. This one, Clyde, is my favorite, and I was so happy to hear that Kenzie is actually writing more with her. So yay! It's gonna be so much fun. And just the cover is so good. I just love this cover. And this story has, it happens in the Wild West, happens on this secluded house where a couple of people get like a refuge from a storm, and then just mayhem ensues, and it's just like gory mayhem, and it's so much fun, and it was just a fun read. And if you like splattery things and really action-packed stories, you should definitely check out Red Station by Kenzie Jennings. It's so good. And then what I consider to be the best novella, probably of the year. I got at first I got like an arc from the author, and I had to stay up late, which I usually don't do. I prefer my sleeps. I had to stay up because I had to read this, and even though I was so uncomfortable, so disturbed, I had to keep on reading because it was that good. It was so bizarre, it was so weird, but at the same time, you just had to keep on going. And of course, I think everyone knows about what book I'm talking about. It's Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. I mean, this cover is so good, and I'm so happy that I got a signed copy. Yay! So yeah, Eric, like Haley Piper, they are really emerging horror authors, and Eric has really shown to, his lyrical prose is really good. It makes you think, and it also takes you to places where you're most uncomfortable and disturbed. And this story definitely does that. It's told from the perspective of two women who are, chatting with each other, both through a chat room and through emails. So it was a new type of style in a story that I had never read before. So it was really refreshing to see this kind of take in a horror story. And just the more I read, the more disturbing it got. And then the end, just like, it got me reeling. I was like, what the fuck did I just read? And it just kept going in my head. And, if there's a story that still, sits with you, even after, weeks after you read it, that means it's really good. So if you haven't already read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, you need to get onto it right away, because it's, like I said, I consider it to be one of the best novellas of the year. And if it doesn't get any kind of award, I'm gonna be pissed. So it's really, really good. You should definitely check it out. So yeah, that concludes the novella category. And then we have the novel category, which is not a lot, because I didn't read a lot of novels, actually. Not really. I think, like I said, I think it has most of the time has to do with the fact that I'm busy and I don't really see it. And when I see like a huge chunk of a novel, I kind of get this kind of procrastination sensation within me, like it feels like it's homework. So I've been kind of avoiding like novels, but I'm gonna try to not do that next year. I'm gonna try to see if I can read more novels next year. So we'll see. But I don't have a physical copy of this book, but I really enjoyed Grady Hendrix, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This was one of my favorites. I listened to it as an audiobook, and it was really fun. Except for the part with the buck scene, that was not a good thing to listen to. Like while you're on the commute, you were just like, nope, my ears, nope, not good. But because it's a vampire story, and I write vampire stories, and I love vampires, I really enjoyed this kind of take on it. It was kind of like mixed in with like a serial killer. Worked really well in my opinion. To the male characters, I wanted to fucking kill, and they deserved everything that in the end that they got. Wish they had deserved a little bit more because they were fucking assholes. But silly. So yeah, if you haven't read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, it's a long name. By Grady Hendrix, I definitely recommend that you check out that book, or any kind of all of his books. Actually, I really enjoyed it. I still haven't gotten around to read the Final Girl Support Group, I think it's called. But I'll probably start it next year, hopefully, because it's a novel. I need to bump up my novels. But I have two here that I also want to recommend, and also say is one part of my best books. Even though this one was really disturbing and it kind of wrecked me, and if you watched my review of it, I ended up breaking down and crying. I still feel that it was a really good story, and that is The Butterfly Garden by Dodd Hutchinson. Like I said, it's really tough. If you are sensitive to the material, like to the theme and the scenes that is in this book, I don't recommend that you check it out, or at least proceed with caution. I did have a content warning in this. It has to do with child molestations and branding on just really young women, and it's a lot to take, and this took a lot out of me. And still, if you are into this kind of thing, you should definitely check it out. I mean, even though it kind of was, soul damaging for me, I still liked it because I'm a masochist. What else? So you should definitely check out Dodd Hutchinson's The Butterfly Garden. And one book that I also really liked, and it's actually one of the first books that I covered when I started this YouTube channel, was Salt Blood by T.C. Parker. I really liked it because it has easy flowing language in the story. There's still this kind of mystique around it. It has these weird folk tale that is mixed in with the Scottish and Orkney Islands, and actually Icelandic as well. So I was really happy to see that all of this was mixed into this one book that contained horror elements as well. And I really enjoyed it, especially when I was seeing the language that they were speaking, and I'm like, ha! I know this. This has kind of parts in Icelandic in it, so it was fun. It was really good. I definitely recommend it. It's called Salt Blood by T.C. Parker, and you should definitely read more stories from her, because she really knows how to write, and she knows how to write engaging characters, and also this kind of mystifying environment. So definitely check it out. So yeah, I think that's about it. I might have been a little bit too nervous and gone a little bit too fast with the descriptions. I might get a little bit better once I continue on into the next year. But this has been my best reads of 2021. I definitely hope that I get a lot of more books in 2022. I hope you guys will have a safe New Year's, and I hope to see you all in the next year. So, Happy New Year, and I'll see you later. Bye.